guys here on this Monday. It's Monday the 18th of March 2024. Thank you for tuning in. Glad to have you guys out. Now, I want to get started here. Here's what's going on. There's a new thing, or Biden is preparing now for the toughest ever auto emissions standards. It's going to be the Environmental Protection Agency just hoovering over the auto industry, toughest ever auto emission standards. I'll tell you, I have ideas on this. I really have ideas on this. I want to take a look at something here. Take a look at this car. With a car like this, is my idea of the perfect car. It doesn't have any of the luxury features. You want wind, you want to open up the window, you got to basically, it doesn't even have a crank. You just kind of pull the plastic away. You can fix this thing with a screwdriver, a hammer, and a pair of pliers. It's you don't need to take it to the dealer. There's no computer controls. There's nothing like that. These are the days when they knew how to make a car. Now, okay, I admit the top speed on this thing is probably not all that great. It's probably like about 40 miles an hour. And with modern engines we have today, if we started to rebuild these things and make them just like this, we'd only need about a 15 horsepower in that thing. That's all. So what kind of fuel economy would you get? 40 miles per, going down the road, 50 miles per gallon probably, I would think. Just a little 15 horsepower engine in it. Just a 2-cylinder internal combustion engine. And why do you need it? Well, let's argue about, what about the EPA? Would they crack down on this and require maybe one catalytic converter wouldn't even be enough. They'd probably want 2. But let's just think about this for a minute. If this thing's getting 50 miles to the gallon, or more, maybe 75 miles to the gallon, what about a car like this? What if we had a contest between these two cars? This Dodge Charger, with 485 horsepower. So that other one had 15 horsepower. It's got 485 horsepower. That's many, 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 many multiples of power. Plus weight. It's much heavier. This car probably weighs 3,500 to 4,000 pounds. And what would this little car here weigh? Probably like 1,200 pounds or something, So let's have a little contest with them. 100 miles, not a race, but a contest to see which one would produce the most carbon emissions into our environment. Okay? Now let's just say in this contest that this doesn't have any catalytic converters, no EPA, whatever. Doesn't have any of that. But this car does. It has all the latest EPA regulatory catalytic converters. Maybe it's got 2 or 3 or 4 of them on there, So it's a 100-mile race, but it's not for speed. It's a 100 miles race cross country, okay, with 2 passengers. So this car would do it 100 miles in probably 2 hours. It'll take a little bit longer, and this car right here would do it probably in maybe an hour and a half or an hour and 45 minutes. So you would save 20 or 30 minutes, right? Cross country between the 2 vehicles. Now, comfort, yes, and quiet, I agree this car would win on comfort and quiet. But what about fuel emissions? This car right here would probably do it in less than 2 gallons of fuel. Okay? This car here would probably take 7 gallons of fuel to do the same trip. Now, you cannot tell me, I just can find it hard to believe, let's put it this way, I'd find it very hard to believe that burning 7 gallons of fuel has less carbon emissions into the environment than burning 2 gallons of fuel. It's just a simple math to me in my mind. No matter how many catalytic converters you put on there, no matter how many electronic components you overburden the car with, computer sensors, thing's probably got 300 sensors in it, for crying out loud, and all of them probably need to connect to the computer and all have to be reset at a dealer. This thing, you can fix it with a screwdriver. Okay, they're both going to get you there. They're both going to get the 2 passengers there, and fairly quick. I mean, to get 100 miles in just 2 hours, that's fairly quick. You know, okay, maybe this one's a little bit faster. You save like 20 minutes or 30 minutes. You're only allowed to go so fast on the highways anyway. Simply getting to my point here is, what if the governments were to say, okay, if you produce a car under 1,500 pounds and under 15 horsepower, then we'll just look the other way as far as EPA emissions are concerned. What if the government were to do that? What if? I'm asking that question. What if the government were to do that? Wouldn't small car manufacturers come along? Maybe they could make something even better than this with modern technology, with things like different types of anodized aluminum and the new compounds made out of carbon fibers and stuff like that. They could probably outdo this car, do a lot better now, if they were working in that direction, rather than working in the direction they're working in. And, you know, I mean, it's just a thought here, guys. A thought experiment in all of this. Now, getting on to the news, the real news in the world that's going on right now. We're heading toward a banking crisis. CRE debt, commercial real estate, is, as of the writing of this article, it was up to $929 billion from $659 billion. Now it's over $1 trillion. It's maturing this year. And these banks are deeply involved in this. The Mortgage Banker Association has revised its estimate of debt maturing in 2024. Extensions and modifications that lenders have been granted borrowers in the past few years. The amount of CRE mortgage matures this year and mortgages maturing this year is expected to increase. Well, it has increased. It's over $1 trillion now. And these banks are deeply entrenched in this. This could take an awful lot of banks down. Seriously. We're right on the edge of this. We're right on the cusp. Now, I wanted to talk about this. This is kind of weird. This is really strange. It shows how strange this world is. There actually is rare eating disorders where people are eating walls, they're eating foam, and they're eating glass. So they got a picture here of this daughter, this woman's daughter. She's eating plaster. She's eating foam from the sofa and glass. She has a rare eating disorder. They call it pica. Now, until this morning, I never heard of such a thing, you know? I've heard of people eating clay, yeah, and other strange things. I saw this woman on television, and she was sipping gasoline or smelling gasoline all day long. There's some really, really strange things going on out there with people, certain people. And it's much more common, there's these eating disorders where people will eat one specific thing, like maybe a man, he'll just eat fries. He doesn't want nothing else but fries. Fries, more fries. I saw this one woman, and all she wanted to eat was these ice cream pop things. She had her whole freezer full of them, and that's all she ate. She ate like 100 of them a day. I do know they taste good, you know, like creamsicles and stuff like that. But if that's all you're eating practically, maybe a little bit of other food, but mostly just creamsicles or something like that, it's a strange diet. Now, I looked at this article this morning on here, and it's in CBC News. And it says, a famine in Gaza is imminent. The United Nations-backed report says, Oh, really? It's imminent. In other words, it's in the future? Or it's going to happen soon? Imminent? Those people haven't been starving already? They're going to starve in the future, or it's imminent, it's going to happen soon? Really, imminent. In my mind, I think this has been going on for months now. Already. What's imminent about it? But anyway, they're recognizing it now. It's about time. The people in Gaza have been going hungry for a very long time now. It says famine is expected between now and May, it says in the article, in the north of the Gaza Strip. In other words, they're just going to start to go hungry now? Or it's expected between now and May? Well, I guess what they're really trying to say here is it's going to get a heck of a lot worse between now and May. So they're building some sort of a wharf or something so that they can bring shiploads in, the Americans. And I think that's very good. And it's about time they brought some food in there. Seriously. Okay. Now, it seems like this, what's going on with the government now? They're into every last thing. They're like the EPA emissions. They're going to crack down on emissions. And now they're going to kill crypto. It says Joe Biden is quietly planning to kill cryptos and destroy billions of dollars in value after he saw the big, huge Bitcoin and Ethereum and XRP and Solana price surge. So he's going to come after it. Gee whiz. You know, the only real, as far as I'm concerned, as far as the monetary system's concerned, the only good thing it's got going for it is crypto. The rest is a Ponzi scheme. So, you know what it is? They want to keep the Ponzi scheme going as long as they can. They don't want crypto to horn in on their party. Even though it's real money. Gold, silver, and crypto is the only real money out there. So they're going to, well, they can't attack gold and silver, because that's been here for thousands of years, and it's going to continue to be here no matter what they do. But there is ways that they can attack that too. But you know, just leave it alone. Leave gold, silver alone. You know. Anyway, why do you need to kill it? Why? What's the point? Well, I know the point. Big money interest. They want to keep this game going so they can get even richer. It's like they're not rich enough already. Yeah, they can't. Listen. If they were to set up a fireplace in the corner of the room and start burning money, actual big lumps of money, throwing it into the fire, they couldn't burn it all. That's how much money they got. In the rest of their lifetimes, they couldn't burn it all. It'd be too much work just to shovel it into the stove. That's how much money they got. Meanwhile, you got people on the street, some of them veterans, who haven't had anything to eat. What's up with that? Putin claims a landslide in Russian election, and he scorns United States democracy. Do you know Putin won with 87% of the vote? Wow. What a victory that was. Isn't that something? 87, that's what I heard this morning. 87% of the vote. So it's very interesting, and it shows that the Russian people are backing Putin with 87% of the vote. Now, moving on today, we're going to take a look at the silver price right now, and it's $25.07. It's down 12 cents on the day for no particular good reason. And gold today is at $21.60. It's up $4.50. So we see that, whenever we see that happening, we see gold going up, silver going down, that means that this anomaly which is the gold to silver ratio. And why I say it's an anomaly is this is the first time in history it's actually done this. It's been doing it for quite a while now. But just because an anomaly might last quite a long time. I mean, you might be out, you might see a UFO or something and say, hey, that's an anomaly. Look up there, it's an anomaly. You know, you better get your camera out because it ain't going to be there forever. That's the way with anomalies. They don't last. So this gold to silver ratio, it ain't going to last. It's going to go back to its normal again. And people then they'll talk about it. They'll say, did you know between the years such and such and such and such, the gold to silver ratio was this? And people say, oh my goodness, why did that happen? And how did that happen? Well, it's all got to do with financial manipulation. We're in a period right now where there's financial manipulation going on. An amazing amount of financial manipulation. Rigged. Everything's rigged. All the markets, they don't find fair market value anymore. They're controlled by the central banks. And this is almost like a big experiment that's never been done before in the history of the world. And it's going to fail so miserably that it's going to be written down in all the history books about this period in time. That's if we don't destroy ourselves. I know that's kind of a negative way of thinking, you know. Crypto today, Bitcoin's at 67,321. Now, as far as the crypto markets are concerned, Bitcoin right now, it's at one of these inflection points. My tendency is to think that it's actually going to start to advance a little bit again soon. As long as with a precondition that oil prices continue rising like they have been, and the markets continue to rise, I think we're going to see Bitcoin probably, if those two things happen, we're probably going to see Bitcoin start to march up back toward 70 again. I think so. This is just my opinion. Don't take it to the bank, you know, and you got to do your own due diligence. Do your own research and stuff, but this is just my way I'm thinking right now, Just let you guys in on the way I'm thinking. Now, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is up today. It's up 175 points at 38,890, which is in nosebleed territory as far as I'm concerned. But there is an inflection point out there where inflation will start to run away. And if that happens, this market could run away with it. To the upside, I'm saying. Because if the dollar starts to hyperinflate and starts to lose its purchasing power very, very rapidly, that will affect your Dow Jones and your other markets, your S&P 500 and all of them, the NASDAQ and everything, to the upside. With upside volatility as well. We're entering into a period too right now where there's going to be increased volatility because of what's going on in the financial system. Taking a look now, crude oil is at 81.57. It's up 53 cents. Now there you go. Now we're finally starting to march toward $90. And that's where I see crude oil going. And that's going to impact inflation. $10 more for crude oil a barrel is going to tack an extra price tag on everything you buy out there. And that could be all we need to start the engine running on inflation. I mean, really running. I'm talking about entering into the acceleration phase of a hyperinflation. We have not seen the acceleration phase yet of a hyperinflation. We've seen inflation. That's what we've seen. But we haven't seen hyperinflation or the acceleration phase yet. Once the acceleration phase starts, it's like a black hole. Once you get into that acceleration phase, it's all over. They can do whatever they want to do. It ain't going to stop it at that point, because people then at that point start to lose faith in the purchasing power of the currency. And your crack-up boom's underway. And it's kind of like starting a lawnmower. You guys ever been out there trying to start a lawnmower, pulling and pulling and pulling, you can't get it started? But once you hear that engine kick in, once that flywheel starts to turn, which is the blade underneath the mower, then that's it. You know, it takes a lot to slow it down. Don't ever stick your foot under there. You'll find out how much it takes to slow that blade down. Once it starts going and spinning, it gains momentum. And this is the way with hyperinflation. This is also the way with deflation. The two of them, they both seek momentum. Once they gain that momentum, then it's hard to slow them down and stop them on the other side. Taking a look at U.S. Treasuries today, we're seeing the U.S. 10-year at 4.32. It's up 2.4 basis points. So it's going up today. And the U.S. 30-year is at 4.45, and it's up 2.6 basis points today. Finishing off with the dollar index is at 103.54, and this only indicates the strength of the dollar against other fiat currencies. But the dollar is going up today. Right now it's going up at 103.54. Thank you guys for listening to my show. Like and subscribe. And wouldn't it be nice to have one of those old cars? Oh man, but with a new engine in it. A brand new engine in it. It'd be so easy to fix. That's the car I'd really like to have. It's not the car I got, but it's the car I'd like to have. That would be my dream car, to have one of those with a brand new engine in it, like a modern engine. But the body and everything else is the old-fashioned, you know what I mean? See, one of the reasons why I'd like to have that so bad is because I could do the work on it myself and easily. You know, it would be easy to jack the thing up. I mean, the whole thing probably will only weigh like 1,200 pounds. So it wouldn't break your back. You know, the wheels are light. You know, they only weigh like 20 pounds, and it wouldn't break your back to put the wheel on it and stuff, you know, to repair it. And it would last virtually forever. The body panels on it are probably... It's easy to access the undercarriage, so if the thing gets rust and stuff, you know. Just all around, the thing would just last for such a long time, and you wouldn't have to bother with dealerships and recalibrating computers and window wiper motors burning out and all that kind of garbage that goes with these new modern cars. You know, once a new modern car gets over, say, 50,000 miles on it, which is not very much, then it's just constant. They just make them. They've worked this into an art and a science of just making them to outlast the warranty. It's called planned obsolescence. And there's another impact on the environment when you get 4,000 pounds of steel that needs to go into the crusher because it didn't last more than 5 years or 8 years before it rusted out. And I seen a show on these newer cars, and they say that they're really rusting fast. The newer ones, the ones they're making right now, are really, they've never seen anything like it before. They rust so fast. Especially, you know, where there's road salt and stuff in places in the northern states and stuff. Or you take it anywhere near the beach. Just one day at the beach. Buy a brand new car, one day at the beach, and a year later you got rust popping out on it everywhere. You might as well throw it in the garbage. That's really all these newer cars are good for anyway. Junk, as far as I'm concerned. All their heated seats and all their luxury features. Well, I just go on for a second. I'll explain to you a little bit more what I mean. So they used to have the hand cranks for the windows. Okay? Nobody could get in to steal your car because you'd roll the window up and it would stay up. But then they come along with these electronic windows, and they were okay at first, you know. Oh, isn't this nice? I can push a button and my window goes up and down. Look at that. You lazy son of a gun, you know? Can't even turn a window crank. But then what happens is they were having children stick their fingers in the windows, and the windows was going up. The older ones, you know, they didn't have this electronic, it's probably some sort of a sensor again. And so the kids were getting their fingers hurt. So what did they do? They put some sort of a sensor in there and stuff that stops it from crushing kids' fingers. But now the thieves out there figured that out, and all they do is they take a bit of duct tape, and they can get inside your car, and without a key, they don't even need a key, in just a matter of a few seconds. All they need is a roll of duct tape. They just slather the duct tape on your window, and they leave some hanging out near the base, and they grab onto that and they push down real hard. And when they push, I don't know, maybe 40 pounds of weight down on that duct tape, the window comes down. How long does it take them to do that, the thieves? So see, what they've done is they've made an open door for the thieves by these luxury items that they put on cars. And now you can't, how can you leave anything in your car? I mean, I had a car, one of these newer cars, you know. Of course, I still got one of these newer cars, but it's not quite as new. And I'm in the mind of thinking, hey, you know, I want the older cars. I don't want these newer cars. The more of these luxury features they put on, the worse they are. The more computers they put on, the worse they are. Okay, so I had one. And every morning when I went out, the trunk lid was open. No, I didn't push the button on the key or anything like that. You know? It's just that every morning I would go out of the house, you know, and the trunk lid would be wide open. The car's parked, you know, down near the road. Anybody could have anything. I couldn't put anything in my trunk because I couldn't trust it. And I said, why didn't they leave it the way it was? Why did these college boys have to come along and say, oh, we got a brand new idea. Let's put some sort of automatic opener that opens off of electronics on the trunk. And we won't even have a key on the trunk anymore. A place to put a key in and open it. I much prefer the old keyhole on the trunk where you stick the key in, you turn it, and you open your trunk that way. Because I don't trust these newer things. And now with these duct tape opening up a window, you can't leave anything inside your car. You might go to the park. I don't know, maybe you're going to take a walk or whatever. And you got something sitting on the seat of your car. Maybe you just bought a musical instrument. You got it sitting on the seat of your car. You come back, it's gone. And there's a little bit of duct tape residue on your window. And they got it. Just that quick. They didn't have to have a key or anything. And then, whose fault is all this garbage? Because none of it's really thought out properly. It's the auto manufacturers. And you can't tell me for 1 minute that if a car is weighs 6,000 or 4,000 pounds and it's driving down the highway with one person that doesn't even weigh 100 pounds soaking wet, you know, and it's burning only 15, 16 miles to the gallon, that's going to have better gas emissions than a car that gets 100 miles to the gallon. Okay, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for listening to me rattle on about that, but it's a pet peeve of mine. And we'll catch you guys in the next show. Have a great day. Bye-bye.